Got me back. I've got my breath back. I've had a think. I went upstairs and found my plan. It's with plans. It's don't be a slave to plans. You've got to make the piece to fit the where it's going, the position it's going to be in, and it's a bit of an intellectual challenge as well. So this is the original plan. So what's happening is we've got to think about the next phase all the way, or constantly thinking about what's happening next. So I'm thinking about the front board and how that's going to be attached to the trestle. Now we're getting towards, you don't want to make the trestle and realise you've got to cut a big chunk off, so you want to constantly thinking ahead. So on the design here, the front board is sticking out of the leg, so it's not flush. So it's nice in terms of a piece of furniture. Just constantly thinking of how it's going to look and how it's feel, and taking pride in your work. So what I'm going to do is inset the front panel into the leg so it's flush, which is quite a trendy thing these days with modern benches. You have a completely, with Chris Schwartz's influence, a completely flush front panel. Personally, what are we talking, 3/4 of an inch? It ain't going to make that much difference. If you've got dogs in the legs, they're going to stick out, they're going to hold the piece. And the other thing I've thought about, thunking is something I like to do, is to think about the relative dimensions of the front board. There's no measurements on this, quite rightly, it's a concept. It's 34 inches high, so half of that's 17, half of that's 8.5. So I'd like the front board to be 1/4, just to make it the rhythm of it sympathetic and easy on the eye. So I've got the big front boards, the old shelf panels. So these are 10.25 inch. There's a groove running down there where the plates rested, so stop them slipping off the shelf. That can go at the back, so we can lose that. So this is going to be the front. The other issue, we've got this little 1.25 inch by 3/4 inch notch out the front, where it fitted into the case. So we're going to lose that. So I'm going to come 8.5 inches across. I'm going to rip that down. So the recess I need to leave on the leg to accommodate that is 8.5 inch by 3/4. I've built several of these trestle benches, kind of Nicholson design. And the other thing which is very handy when you're putting the front board on, if there's actually a ledge to rest the front board, so there's a very practical sense to it as well, in terms of me thinking about assembly in the future. What about when I haven't done this in the past, I'm constantly learning, constantly thinking, constantly adapting. What I've had to do is to screw a little batten on the front of each leg so that I've got something to rest it on. So when I'm doing the assembly, the front board ain't going to slip off. So by having a little ledge here, having it inset into the leg, and I've got plenty of meat on the leg, they're big legs, it'll just help me in a practical sense as well. So aesthetically it will look pleasing, but in a practical sense as well, it will aid the overall construction. So I'll do one. I'll rip off the section for the front board, 8.5 inch, and then I'll 34. I've got to take off one of the bench slabs, 1 5/8 in it, so I've got to take that off as well. I'm glad I spoke to you about this. I'd have just gone ahead with it. 38, 8.5, take away 1 5/8. Here we go. 8.5, 7, 7.5, 6 7/8. The other design challenge that I've got here is I want a lower shelf. So this board, it looks like it's a third of the height of the bench. So if it's 34 inch, we're looking at 12 inch board, 11 inch board. And if you put a shelf 4 inches up, you ain't gonna get anything under it. The purpose of this board is to provide anti-racking, but we can. I've got plans for the lower shelf as well, for the lower section of the undercarriage, to give it extra bracing as well. That's one of the benefits of these little benches. If you have a shelf underneath, firstly there's the heft of the shelf itself. If you make a good chunky shelf, you're lowering the centre of gravity, but also the material, tools, timber, boxes, whatever, tins of paints, whatever you can get that's heavy, is also adding extra heft to these small benches. The original design for this just made a big box underneath and they filled it with sand. So apart from bolting it to the joists underneath, you can, if you can't do that, then you can. But one thing they also suggested was making a box underneath and filling it with sand. But we're going to make like a shelf underneath, fill it with tools and crap just to weigh it down. That's going to be my recommendation to the client. Right then. So again, I've got another half-hour slot. It's about as far as I can go tonight. I've got tomorrow off, so we'll just do half-hour sessions and we'll see how we go. Coming off there. 6 7/8. The thing with that board, it's a smidgen thicker than the front panels. So I've just took my gauge and tapped it on the bench a few times just to give me the working length. I'll Google it and find out what model those Stanley gauges are. They're beautiful. Snake up on it. This shorter rip, so we'll just do it in the vise. Going just inside the line, just to lose the pencil. Sometimes the waist, it opens up, so I just like to grip it a little bit. So because we're resetting the face now, it makes the top stretcher a bit shorter. So we'll tidy that up, we'll get the crap off it, and then we'll essentially double the width of both boards. We'll take both boards, and that'll give us the final length for the stretcher, the bearer here. So we just need to think about that. Constantly think. It just takes your mind off. This is what's the important part of de-stressing it about woodwork. You're thinking about something else all the time. Thinking about your own safety. Thinking about are my tools sharp? Do they need sharpening? The design, the aesthetics, the practicalities. It's just so relaxing. It's beautiful. Right, you beggar. So you can rest over there. So this is just again another nasty piece of door frame of something. Don't know how the builders. Yeah, so it's a door frame. Still got the holes for the hinges. Well, we'll scrub this off. See how we go. If you're very unlucky, you'll find an old nail. I'm pretty careful when I broke this down, make sure I got all the as you're playing, if it ain't gripping, I know this is sharp. You just push down a bit more, just go come with your wrist, just do that a bit, and that just engages the blade. Go for the scrub. There are a couple of old screws left in there. Luckily it's in a recess where the hinge used to be. We can't get them out now. The best thing to do is get a drift and just knock them in, or a punch. Get them out of the way. Flea markets, car boot sales have a good rummage through, so that's a drift. Probably 3/16. It's an old nail punch. Beautiful, nailed. That's a more modern, cheap, nasty one. Set. Sorted you out, you bugger. I don't think there's another in there. You can get magnets as well. Experience, I've just got eye now, by eye. You get caught out occasionally. You're going to sharpen your plane anyway, so you can get it out there. I'll do. Bit against the grain there. There we go. Again, we got a old growth double fir probably. What a knot in it. Dense, heavy. You got some nasty bits that's going to go inside. No one will ever see it. You've got presentation face. Very nice. carrots off. The other one, there it is. So this is the front and the back panel. That's 1.5, perfect. So it's 3/8. So we can take 1.5 off the bearer. Again, another opportunity to lose some stuff, some nasty stuff. Get rid of as much of that crap as we can. That 24 takes us to 22.5. Check it for wine. Should be alright actually, once you've cleaned all the crap off. Yeah, it's perfect. Back it off a bit. Getting close now. Beautiful. It's so smooth as well. This is slow ground timber. It's stunning. And once you get the oil on that, finish on it, it just pops. Beautiful. Right, come on Parry, get a wiggle on, 5 minutes. Not there now. Right, now I know I've got a reference face. Just on the way side of the line. Yeah. Two lines. To keep this Ken who asked, would I put a hardwood face on the front of the bench? I guess you now know. A lot of the sawing is cross cuts. Done in the vice. Right then. Not happy with that now. So we'll cut this section out onto the leg. So even though this is just glued and screwed, there's no joinery as such. There's still a lot of thought going into how you're going to handle the pressures. Come off the wrong edge in it. The depth right. It's a chunky monkey, this one. Like building a puzzle. Keeps you young. It's the neurons are firing. Concentration. Again, just on the inside of the waist. lay down a bit. So there we go, then that's it. So we'll have a go, and then we'll do the other one, and we can get back to you tomorrow once we've tidied everything up. Right then, time for me tea. See you later, kids. Try for now.